Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to LoreCrimes. Oh my gosh, what's happened to Eli? What's going on there? It's a scary man with a...
John Titus. I'm John Titus, and I'm here to retake the 500 worlds. I'm John Titus, and we're going to retake Ultramar.
I don't have that, but I do have this soda.
Wow, that's the picture. I didn't see the picture before the stream. Wow.
Yeah. For those of you who can't quite see it, this is Saddam Hussein.
Wow. What a way to start an episode.
Huge.
I've been having paracetamol cough syrup. I've been ill.
Make up some purple lean. Get some purple drink in you, Mr.
No, man. Get yourself some soda blocked by debris and rubble.
White vinegar and bicarbonate. That'll clean me out.
Next time I'm sick, I'm mixing up the cough syrup with the Sprite. It's happening.
Cough syrup?
Cough syrup. Okay. You would. Okay. Cough syrup. Anyways, we're going to talk about the 500 worlds today.
Cool. Because Eli has been a gem, and he's got the actual booklet. Because question, Eli, can you buy them separately, or do you have to buy them all in like a collection?
You have to buy them all together. I think it was like literally $100 Canadian for these freaking books. 80 at least. But I'm pretty sure it was 100. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just want the sliver one. I just want the lore. I don't care about the rest.
Me too. The Necron's lore, like this part of the book, is goated. The rest of it, pretty mid, if I'm being honest.
It's because it has people in it.
Stick around and keep on watching, because the Necron's lore is cool.
Okay. So before, because Eli's done the deep dive, we've got Colin who's going to do like a little bit of, up to like your knees. But before that, 500 worlds is actually something that bridges the divide between 40k and 30k. So to start us off, Colin, what exactly is the deal with the 500 worlds of Ultramar?
Well, you see, the 500 worlds of Ultramar, right? That's Gilliman's crib. It's where he lives on all of them. That was the stupidest.
God, he's massive.
Dude, biggest Primarch. It's not Vulcan, it's Gilliman. He's like 10 planets. Stupid. But no,
adjusted
that was
for inflation. Reboot A is the biggest.
It has been 10,000 years, right? Like it's the Macroggian dollar ain't what it used to be. But no, the 500 worlds is sure enough when Gilliman was part of just on his own. He landed on Macrogg. It was already a pretty solid place, and he started sure enough once he became the guy in charge. Once he became Augustus, Foley after his dad died. He started expanding Macrogg into a nice little mini space empire relative to the Imperium, anyways. Mini. By the time the Emperor found him, it was pretty decently sized. And over the course of as the Great Crusade went on a little bit, it would reach its peak, which was, of course, 500 world. There he is. There he is lounging on his well-deserved throne. And it was good. Even this early into the Imperium's history, still the Great Crusade. This was probably the second wealthiest, nicest place to be, short of Terra. Quite frankly, I'm going to say it was the nicest place to be, because Terra is hive shit world.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
And Mars is Mars.
Well, yeah, Mars is like, do you want to be lobotomized? And Terra's like, get into the dirt, pilgrim. Like, Ultramar is arguably the nicest place ever, because it's a bit more lax with, do we have to follow Dad's rule if he's all the way over there?
Yeah.
It's okay. We can play games until midnight. It's fine.
At least compared to, the random pleasure worlds or whatever that are probably, half the time they're just Slanesh fronts. It's like a shell company. For a chaos god, Ultramar is one of the nice place to be, and it was a bastion of imperial power far out in the galaxy. Because for those of you who might not be familiar with the map of the 40k galaxy, Ultramar is damn near at the eastern rim of the galaxy. It is very close to the edge in Segmentum Ultima,
and unfortunately, really close to the Tau Empire, which is sad.
Yeah, but that's not a problem right now. The tower's still caveman at this point in time. That's no warp storm time warp shenanigans happen yet. They're still just hanging out somewhere. But yeah, so it's even this early on, Ultramar is a jewel of the Imperium. Macragge is the shining little gem on top of the jewel. And it was pretty well. And even throughout the heresy, the 500 worlds were mostly intact. Lorgar and Angron did burn down. I think it was like 100 worlds. They said like reduced 100 to ashes.
I think it was 70 in the end, wasn't it? 70.
Huh.
I think because the 70th was New Syria, wasn't it? And then it's like the last one, and then they make the Ruin Storm.
Well, in something that I'll break form a little bit. We'll be nice to them and say we'll round it up to 100. But I think
probably
the exact number,
100.
probably 70.
To be honest,
70 to 100. Up to a fifth of Ultramar was burned to the ground, which sucks. But it was reclaimed. It was rebuilt. The word bearers and world eaters weren't really conquering. There was the Shadow Crusade. They were just kind of causing a ruckus to keep Guilliman busy from the rest of the heresy. After that, things were rebuilt. Calth was turned into a marble, and if anything, that kind of just helped because it became the best shipyard. Short of, I think, isn't Saturn a shipyard in Terra? Again, like
I know there's this the Saturnine, like what they called the Solar Auxilia people, the Saturnine. They kind of fall by the wayside by the end of the Horus Heresy. Because even like one of the books, Furious Abyss, it's like, oh, we used to be the top dogs in the Navy. Now no one cares about us anymore. So I think it's a bit more like homogenized, but they're probably still quite a powerhouse. But like you got Mars,
yeah,
you got Mars.
Or was it Jupiter? I swore one of the gas giants was also a shipyard in the Sol system, but
probably Jupiter, yeah.
Which makes the Grey Knight's secret base right in front of it kind of awkward. But for Ultramar, get back on topic, Colin. It got punched, it got a sucker punch, but it recovered. But come the end of the heresy, Guilliman does his thing and splits all the legions into chapters, which does include his own legion. He's mostly fair with that. Ignore the Genesis chapter over there. And Guilliman, as a result of all this, Ultramar kind of is intentionally shrunk a bit because he's, of course, Macragge is still going to be in the hands of the Ultramarines. I'd say he's earned that little bit of nepotism. But as a legion, you could justify having 500 worlds supplying one legion, make sure they're never going to be waiting too long for supplies and resources and whatnot. 1,000 dudes do not need 500 planets. That is very unnecessary. So it was cut down a bit. And jumping ahead a bit, but you can summarize it, at least I think, very nicely by saying, and then the next 10,000 years happened where, the Imperium stagnated some more, started declining and at various paces. To Ultramar's credit, and Macragge mostly now, because it's kind of shrinking around Macragge for the Ultramarines, it held out better than anyone else. The Ultramarines have kept a large amount of their stuff from the Great Crusade. Macragge itself has, for the most part, it's been invaded 3 times over the course of 10,000 years. It's done pretty well for itself.
Lest we not forget the First Tyrannic War.
Well, that's it come the modern era of 40K, those invasions suddenly went from 0 over 9,000 years to bam Hansu, bam Tyranids, bam more Tyranids. But for the most part, Ultramar had remained fairly stable, but that is by comparison to the rest of the Imperium. It had still, everyone forgot how to do certain things. The Macragge just forgot how to, make less things. The degradation hit them the least, but it still hit them. And even beyond that, even beyond Guilliman's initial, not culling, what's the downsizing? The initial downsizing of how, big the Ultramarines territory was, it did still, for various other reasons, just over the course of 10,000 years, shrink more and more until we get to the modern day of the setting. And by the time of Guilliman's return, they had a handful. They were a fraction of the 500 worlds. For one reason or another, a lot of them had become independent. Not necessarily independent from the Imperium, although some certainly did. But more so, at least in the case of some of them, it's you're no longer, you're not ruling us anymore, Ultramarines. We're doing our own thing now. We're still paying the tithes, still paying our taxes, but we're not flying the blue flag anymore.
Don't some of them, they end up, instead of having a ruling Civitas or other similar things that they had in Macragge, they end up just going to noble families. just because
They
just take them.
They start like the rest of the Imperium's, noble family, endless hell of
Imperial
Game of Thrones
governors
style, imperial governor politics kind of takes over. Again, kind of like I was saying, they're still imperial worlds. They sure as hell aren't ultramarine worlds anymore. Gilliman wakes up, and he did, kind of do this. Maybe things would have been different if, whatever amount of planets he originally gave them at first was still what they held. But that was not the case. Ultramarines were a fraction of their former selves. And he's not a fan of that. So after the various Indominus crusades and all, waking up, One Punch Manning his way through World Eaters and whatnot, he declares and puts our good old pal Captain, now once again Captain Titus, in charge of one very simple but certainly not easy mission: to bring back the 500 worlds to exactly what it says on the tin. Bring them up to the 500 they once were. As per the trailer he got, Titus is not sure if that's physically possible, but it's better to have something worth fighting for, right? What is that line in Star Trek? Maybe it's better to want than not have.
Or I would like to say he can always resort.
I don't think that's it.
he can always resort to, I have main character energy. Why not? Let's give it a bash.
Well, he can't acknowledge that in universe. That's like that's a narrative faux pas. Only you can only do that if you're thankful. But Titus, it's an uphill battle to say the least. But going into the 500 Worlds campaign, Titus is going to give it his best alongside all of the forces under his command. The Second Company, the Auxilia forces. He's ready to try and reclaim those 500 worlds. Whether or not he's going to succeed, he doesn't seem to think he can. But hey, it's better to have goals, right? And he certainly has one hell of a goal in front of him.
He's not alone though, and he is building upon the. There's some work in the Dark Imperium trilogy that goes on. I'm sure Andy's maybe got some parts for that, but he's not. There's been some work in the background. It's not just like a random endeavor necessarily. But Titus is now leading it rather than it's just it's no longer a it's not a stabilization effort. It's a proactive effort, which I think a lot of the Ultramarines probably fall into the. I think Calgar said at one point, when Gilliman returned, he kind of realizes they thought they were doing a great job, the Ultramarines, and they realized they've just been reactive, not proactive.
Yeah, that was
this entire time.
It's a very good way to put what I was trying to say, where it's like they fell apart the least, but they still kind of fell apart. So the 500 Worlds campaign is an effort to at least territorially fix that.
For being the guy in charge of the campaign, Titus does quite a lot of fighting instead of command table things. In fact, he's just on the ground for most of this stuff. Not even telling people what to do. I guess he's entrusted the other guys. I mean, if we're being, nice, right? A quality of leadership is knowing when to delegate. It's true.
Maybe if some people in charge of the Great Crusade knew how to delegate a bit better, things would be a little nicer in the Imperium. Failing that, I'm watching Space Marine 2 footage right now. I think we know what Titus is best at.
Yeah.
And it's when he's turning people into meat.
Apparently, according to Imperial history, one can delegate too much and then it just leads to endless 10,000 years of bureaucracy and stagnation.
You got to find that sweet spot.
And because I thought it'd be cute, I am cosplaying as Matoris from Secret Level. Look at that.
Oh, very nice. Idris Elba.
Always a banger. Shout out to Knuckles.
Yeah. All right. That's everything we got on the 500 Worlds, I assume, Colin.
Just some brief little build up. I know. Once again, shout out to the religious planet named Sotha. Glory to the Tribunal.
Espandor is dead, right? As well, Andy, from Dark Imperium, the one that the Death Guard attacked, and it was like a place of grand structures and stuff, and now it's like a big smelly cesspit.
In the words of Decimus of the 11th Company, well, got crunked. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
He did not say that, by the way.
Yeah.
He got.
Dark
Got
Imperium Plague War has done a number on the 500 worlds. Particularly
Mortarion has no chill with that petulant child energy going on.
Yeah. Gilliman talks about that in his little speech. He has a big, I don't actually know if it was a speech. I think it was just a letter that he wrote, actually. It's the preface to the Consialis Imperatus Ultramar. Yeah, it wasn't a speech. It was just a letter. What did he say? Lobos, Parmenio, and Eax are still festering from the Death Guard wounds. But he does mention Mortarion a little bit, and now he doesn't like him. Anyways, I guess a tiny bit more on the 500 Worlds, because there's actually not that much lore on the 500 Worlds specifically, but talk about it later. There's 4 Tetras, the Northern, Southern, Eastern, and Western one. Andy will probably know more about these characters, so I'll let him talk about it. But the Northern one is under Captain Agamen, and they're fighting Chaos Marines. The Southern one is under Captain Porton, who was part of the Genesis chapter. And they're it's hard. The Southern place is small, but it's like really impossible to get around. They're fighting Xenos pirates and other such things, and uprisings and stuff keep happening. They call it like the haunted front or something like that.
To keep up with you, Captain Agaman is first captain of the Ultramarines. He's like the regent of Ultramar. Other guy, no clue. He's just some rando glubshido Genesis chapter guy. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah. The book also
glubshido mentioned.
The book also typos and says in one page it says Captain Porton is a Doom Eagles captain, and then in another page it says he's the Genesis chapter captain. So
is it the case that maybe they've retconned it, that Genesis is not just like the reserves for the Ultramarines, but like the whole of the 10 shield worlds? Because bear in mind there are 10 shield worlds in the 500 worlds, and
let me show you.
Ultramarines is one of them. Genesis chapter is not one of them. So maybe now they're like, we just divert them to all 10.
But see, here on the Protoss front, which is
like
the Western one, I guess so. The Protoss front, it says Captain Balthus. Am I talking about Captain Balthus? Am I talking about the right guy right now? Am I trolling you guys? No, I'm kind of Captain Porter. Sorry,
I'm going from StarCraft to Balthasar Gelt right now.
Yeah, sorry. The Andermung front says Captain Porton of the Doom Eagles governs the Southern Tetra, and then if we go freaking over here, bear with me, chat. Bear with me.
Maybe there's just 2 guys with the same name.
In Warhammer, Hal?
Don't be
ridiculous. That's never happened.
So I was talking about Captain
hundreds
Porton.
of times.
So I am definitely trolling. I am talking about Captain Porton. So I showed the Captain Porton said Doom Eagles. Now it says Captain Porton Genesis chapter. And the Amerdung front, whatever it comprises, blah, blah, blah. Here, Captain Porton of the Genesis chapter oversees the Tetra's amalgamation.
Because the thing is, there used to be 5 Tetrarchs. So I assume that because of the aforementioned planet that gets absolutely bodied, they're like, well, we don't need that Tetrarch anymore. We're going to have 4. And then each Tetrarch has a Tetra, I assume. Yeah. Because, poor Spandor. Rip.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, that doesn't actually matter. That's just a silly typo. I assume that's supposed to be the Genesis chapter, not the Doom Eagles, because the Doom Eagles are already in a different one.
Well, Genesis chapter aren't part of the Shield world, so I assume it's either like a mistake or it's he used to be part of the Genesis, then he was sent to the Doom Eagles, and therefore he can be both. It's one of those two. It's got to be.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird choice, I guess. The Eastern Tetra is is under Captain Felix. Under Captain Felix, does he matter?
He's weird. He's the 11th captain of the Ultramarines. He's in like the Godblight books, and he's a Primaris. And then Gilliman's like, screw the Codex. I'm going to have 11 captains. Like, I don't think you're allowed to do that, Gilliman. You did this before. So he's Felix Decimus, I believe his name is.
Look, if there's anyone who can unwrite the Codex, I'm going with the guy who wrote it to begin with.
And every Codex compliant chapter seeing this is like, he can't keep getting away with this. Because he did it with the size of the Emperor too. Yeah. So yeah.
Your dad should have come back first then, bozos.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And sorry, I misspoke. The Southern Tetra is not the haunted one. That's the West Tetra. The Southern one it's just hard to get around. So they're just going slow and steady. But the eastern one is Captain Felix. He's been fighting in a handful of sectors while ensuring the security in others. It's a very conservative approach, I guess, 50-50. His initial wins have been very big, but the task ahead of him is very large, and he has like a ton of very big planets to take. Then the West Tetra is Captain Balthus, who's actually of the Doom Eagles. And this is the Haunted Front. It's supernatural, and there's scary threats, and reclaimed worlds don't stay under control, and they kept having rebellions or disasters. And so Mr. Balthus is trying to go fast and hard. Is he everything cool about him, Andy? Just a guy. All right, just a Doom Eagles guy.
He's raised his hands for the audio listeners in surrender. As
I pointed out, audio listeners, the text is like a couple sentences for these sections, so there's like really not a lot to go about them. But alongside Titus are his wardens of Ultramar, as I believe they're called, in the box that comes with the 5 dudes. I don't know, it's a little awkward. I don't know if you can separate them in the game. I feel like you should be able to. You shouldn't have 3 human beings running around with the Space Marine squad in the lines. But
you can. I think you can take Titus separately, or you can take him with this as a command squad, which you can get for regular Space Marines.
Because the Wardens of Ultramar are basically like an elite task force of mortals and Astartes, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, most of them, the mortals don't have anything to do with fighting, though, so it doesn't make much sense for them to be on tabletop, to be honest, but it's fine.
Well,
it's fine. They're cool. They look cool.
In the lore, I think they're more supplemental. It's like they're not a guard regiment, but they do have like one of the Ultramarines, Macragian. It's not a planetary defense force. It's like a militia, and the militia bolsters the second company.
Yes.
In AOS, there's a guy who's in the Ideneth army he's just an accountant. He's hanging around. So hey.
Yeah.
Who's the Death Guard guy who's got the book and he gives you command points?
Oh, the scribe or whatever.
People in the chat, please let us.
I don't know.
I can't remember. He just sits there and just gives people command points.
Yeah.
Lord Gilius Scrumgled.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Scrotus.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll just mention the 4 new Cuban characters. Then Andy or someone can talk about Chadriel and Idris Elba. I don't remember his name. So first of all, there's it's literally like 2 sentences of lore that they get in this book. I'm not sure if they're in any novels. I would be surprised if they were, to be honest.
They're all new.
Yeah. Surely we're going to get 500 Worlds novels. Do you think we will, or do you think it's just going to be a random campaign?
Well, I guess the elephant in the room is this going to be like where Space Marine 2 goes, where maybe I wouldn't mind if Space Marine 2, instead of having a linear campaign, was more
3.
like
3.
Sorry, 3.
Yeah, 3.
I wouldn't mind if it was more like I wouldn't mind if it was more like Battlefleet Gothic, where it was like you have a big section of space and it's like you have a timer, kind of like in Mechanicus, and you could just be like, here are all these places, and pick them and do like missions, bring them into the fold, crush this rebellion, bolster this garrison. And then it's all more like you have to have like a gauge or something to build up at the end of the campaign. And you have to pick and choose. Like that would be fun, but then it would really mess with the lore, I guess.
Yeah. This also sounds way too large scale for this company. I think they'd rather spend 90% of their time making the walls look pretty and ray tracing water. So whatever. I don't like them. It doesn't matter. Whatever. 500 Worlds. The new characters. There's Gaia Silva, Emilia Minervis, Daniel Cornelius, and Lucia. Don't know which one. Vesta. I'll say Lucia for now. So Gaia Silva is a Commodore in the Ultramar fleets. This is a Navy guy. He's known for being very calm and collected, always having a cool head, being very diplomatic and making sure the relationship between the Space Marines and the mortal crew and they get along. He has Emperor-class flagship, the Magnificence Enthroned. That's it. Amelia is the legatus of the Defense Auxilia of the 30th. She leads the 30th McCraig Defense Auxilia. One of these regiments... this regiment is attached to Titus's fleet, amongst many other ones. She's a big fan of the Codex. She has it memorized from front to back.
Yeah, she's basically a mortal ultramarine. It's kind of whack.
Yeah. Daniel Cornelius is the navigator. Sorry, not navigator. Astropath. He served in Fortress the Fortress of Hera for over a century. He's now in Titus's fleet. He's kind of a jerk and no one likes him, but Titus likes him. He's really good at being an astropath and sending messages. He's a really good mailman. He makes people really mad, but Titus is always on his side and like keeps him safe.
He's that grumpy co-worker who always does a good job, but it'd just be like Titus to be like, all right, navigator, can you not navigator, astropath, could you send me a message to McCracken and say, oh, do you want me to make some recap for you as well? And he's just there like, I know you're under a lot of stress. You're an old geezer. You're 100 years old and you're always being attacked by demons. I'm going to be patient with you. Could you please send a message to McCrag? And he's like, okay. It's like, he's just a grumpy git. He's a grumpy git.
Titus knows that under his grumpiness, he loves Ultramar and he'll do anything for it. It is kind of funny that you can have Titus's literal mailman walking around on tabletop with you and like psychic blasting people. Lucia Vesta is the I've never heard this word in my life, to be honest. Plenipotentiary of Ultramar. Plenipotentiary.
Diplomat.
Yeah. She's a negotiator to bring resistance worlds into the fold without battle, and she's really good at negotiating. That's it. Those are your new mortal characters in the box.
General Kenobi.
And she, to be fair to her, she's also like the one person on the team who's like, can we get one of the 500 worlds without any conflict? I'll try and find a way of doing that, because otherwise it's going to be a bloodbath. Yeah,
because a lot of these, as we said, are just like pretty regular worlds who aren't part of Ultramar anymore. So they're kind of trying to bring them back. So they don't have to fight on all of these fronts, which is pretty nice. But there's your 4 new mortal characters. There's every piece of lore that is currently on them. Andy, would you like to talk about the 2 Space Marines?
All right. Who should I pick first? Do we want, as Eli would call him, Idris Elba, Metaurus, or do I talk about Gadriel?
Best to last.
I'll start with Gadriel then. I like Metaurus, so I'm going to go with Gadders. So to give him his full name, because
I wish Chiron lived instead.
Yeah, we all do. But Valorum, shall I mention Chiron briefly?
Yeah, they died. Let me see. There's actually a little, like, they get their tiny little blurb in here saying, "Oops, they died. Sorry." Yeah, here's Acheron's fall. Yeah, he could only spare 3 men to bring to the Gene Stealer cult planet. Well, I do know the story, so I might as well say it, I guess. Captain Acheron was leading his guys, and they got like the distress signal from an imperial world, and they went to investigate because there was also like missing shipments of dudes and stuff. When they got there, the Gene Stealer cults trolled them, and they closed the domes to the city. Or no, they didn't close it. Acheron closed it, I guess.
He trapped them in. He trapped the Gene Stealers in.
Yeah, Acheron, he found Gene Stealer cults, so Acheron was like, just sacrifice himself, close the nuclear protection dome to the city so no one could get out. And then the Ultramarines, including Chiron and Acheron, fell in battle to the glorious Gene Stealer cults. The Four-Armed Emperor was victorious that day. The Gene Stealer cults beat the Ultramarines. Who could have ever thought? Glory to the Four-Armed Emperor.
And it's worth mentioning as well that with Titus leaving Second Company for a brief time for secret level, Chiron was promoted to lieutenant to replace him. So he actually like circumvented Gadriel, because Gadriel was a sergeant. He went, whoop. It's like, oh, what the hell? He gets like 2 promotions at once. That's not fair. And then it's just like, oh, he's dead. So yeah, it's a bit sad that Gadders survives when I think Chiron was a better character, because Gadders is a snitch, and also he's a nerd, and I hate him.
He's just he doesn't even have a backstory. Chiron had an actual backstory.
He was less frumpy Leandros, basically, Gadders.
But he's handsome. What am I talking about? It's time. I guess it's just time to get back into the 500 world.
Should I cover Gadders quickly and Metaurus?
Oh yeah. Yes,
and then I'm going to go for a week because I'm busting. So Valorum.
Hey, yo.
Valorum Gadriel.
He's busting right now?
His real name, Valorum, was the sergeant of the Second Company. He's a junior to Captain Sevastus Acheron before he died. And so he was like, oh, I'm like on the up and up. I'll be lieutenant one day. And then Chiron's like, yo, I'm lieutenant before you. Dead. So that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, so he led...
Bozo.
Yeah. And he was just like, okay, I'm leading the battle, one of the battle squads of Second Company. And then Titus comes out of nowhere from the Death Watch, from like being seconded for ages. And he's like, no, I'm in charge now. This is my house. He's like, Akira, that's my squad. He's like, no, step aside. You're now going to follow his orders, even though you don't know who he is. And he's come out of nowhere. And he's got like all these honors and is really like cold and not chatting with me and telling me about all of his glorious ultramaring all over the galaxy. So it's worth noting that Gadders
did he fuck your girlfriend or something? There's a lot of hate coming for this guy.
Well, we all know that Space Marines are virgins unless they're Lucas the Trickster and Aryak Rockfist. Only Space Wolves have sex. Let's be honest.
It's part of the Canis Helix.
It's part of their law that they're like, we can be adults and be turned into Space Marines. They're like, I have 7 kids. Like, fair play, mate. Although Lucas, it's probably more like 7 generations of kids. But the point is, he's resentful of like Titus coming out of nowhere and just taking his company when he's like, hey, I'm a glory hound. I'm all about getting progression, becoming like maybe a captain one day. Not very happy with that. He tries to kind of like kiss his ass and ingratiate himself during the Kodaku deployment of the Residius campaign. He's just like, hold on, sir, you were in the Death Watch, weren't you? Yes. And that's the conversation. It's like, sir, why don't you want to love me? And it's like, because you're a nerd, Gadriel. And fundamentally, he's very rigid in his adherence to the Codex Astartes. He thinks that Titus's tactics are a bit too unorthodox and strange for him to be a party of.
This feels awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Very original character.
And so he's very wary of Titus. They uncover details about Project Aurora, which if you played Space Marine 1, that was the whole chaos plot, which Titus was involved with which cost us the life of a real Sergeant Sidonus. Rest in peace. And basically, they get to Avarax. He's becoming ever more flagrant in his disobedience to Titus. He has like a hissy fit. Then he confronts him in the astropath chamber of Neoma, and then he's pointing the gun at Titus's face.
He was accused of being a heretic, we should say.
You're a heretic, sir, and I think you're a stupid idiot. He's like, stop that, you idiot. I'm an actual character. And then Chiron stops it in its tracks, shooting Neoma, and it reveals that it's Chaos Sorcerer of the Thousand Suns, Imara. Ooh. So then Gadriel's like, sir, I've been an absolute bellend. I'm so sorry. I hope that you'll forgive me. And he's like, Gadriel, stop being a tosser and help me fight Chaos. And they fight Chaos. And they basically...
I think we downloaded the wrong film, guys.
And basically
why are they taking their clothes off?
Yeah, they kiss. It's like that old artwork where they're doing like line dance, or not like dancing with a rose in the teeth. But yeah, they redeploy to the cemetery world of Demirium, and then Imara basically is like, I'm going to do a big plot. They foil the plot. They win the day. Chaos is defeated. The Tyranids are defeated. Yay, Residius campaign is over. Titus is promoted to... not promoted, but he's given the laurels of victory. Then he's sent off to secret level with Matoris under the advisements of Leandros, who we don't talk about in this podcast. And that leaves Acheran in a bit of a bind because he doesn't have a lieutenant. So Chiron, you can be my lieutenant. We're going to go take out these gene stealers. I'm sure that will go well. And essentially, we don't know what's happened beyond the end of Space Marine 2 to 500 Worlds. But what we do know is that Gadriel is now part of Titus's elite command squad, and he is promoted to the rank of an ancient. And ancients are not necessarily... Yeah, they get to hold a banner. They're banner bearers. And to a Space Marine, a banner is like one of the like cream of the crop best relics you ever get in your chapter. So like only special people get to carry them. In Hell's Reach, there's the whole thing with Artarian. It's like he has to sacrifice one hand to keep my banner aloft, which makes him a target because everyone's shooting at you because you got this big freaking banner, and you also have one less hand to use. Like, do you use a gun? Do you use a chainsaw? Like, you have to pick your options. So it's a risky business. And Gadriel is like one of the absolute youngest ancients ever promoted to that rank.
Not so ancient.
No, but it's like it's a title. It's not about age. It's about pedigree, and you have to be very brave to be an ancient. You have to be very disciplined. And I suppose Titus saw Gadriel and was like, well, you're a stickler for rules. You're all about the Codex Astartes. You're going to be really good in this position. So I would ask Chiron, but he's dead, and you're my like less favorite brother. So I guess you can have the position. I don't know. I'm making up my own lore here, but I also think that it's completely true. So you can debate me on that. And now he is the Ancient of Titus, and he carries his banner. Cool, good. And also his new artwork, he looks like he's fallen down a flight of stairs. I have no idea.
Oh my God.
If you look at the new artwork of him, it's not
he looks so weird. It's looking.
It's the fact that it's also like someone took a photo of him mid-conversation, so his face is like, it's like he was mid-conversation when you took that. Like that wasn't his like resting face. That was like the equivalent of taking like me when I take pictures of Hal when we're on holiday eating a sandwich, and he looks at me and like that's what they did to Gadriel, which is a shame.
And just me and Andy are on holiday, by the way.
Yeah, when we're on our little escapades on our own. What was the word on our?
Sex
when you get married, we were eloping. There you go. We were eloping.
For the visa. For the Channel Islands visa.
The Channel Islands visa.
I have dual citizenship.
Channel
I'll have
Islands
you know.
card.
But yeah, anyway, so that's Gadders, and then we got Matoris. Matoris is cool. He was in secret level. His premiere. So he's like, by virtue of that, one of the crispest looking Space Marines ever, because it's like, look at those graphics. Ooh. I can see every pore in his cheeks. And this guy basically mentored Titus from when he was an itty-bitty boy. And he noticed from the outset that there's something strange about Titus. He, for some reason, has an uncanny ability to resist chaos. He's not scared ever. He never backs down. This guy's going places. So he goes, okay, I'll mentor you. And he mentors him until basically before Space Marine 1. He's a veteran sergeant even to this day. He kind of keeps that position. So maybe he's one of these Space Marines who's like, I don't want to be like a command guy. I know what I'm about. I'll just stay a sergeant. And they're like, fair enough. And he's a veteran sergeant. So, you know, he's got his hours in. Him and Titus have the same amount of command studs. So they're both over like 200 years old. And a lot of people would be like, wait, hold on. Titus calls him old man. How come there's such a little difference in time? And I'm like, bear in mind, warp shenanigans with time travel. When you're a Space Marine, age works differently. We don't know when Matoris was inducted as a Space Marine. I don't know. It's probably a lazy oversight.
Wasn't Titus on ice for a bit?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Maybe. And you also know Titus as a little kid, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, and it's like, we don't know how.
I mean, I'm only a few
Titus
years older
is.
than Eli, and he calls me Unc. So
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
But we do know that he like Titus, he overcame the Rubicon Primaris from a Firstborn. He's a Blade Guard veteran, like in Space Marine 2. And basically, he's reunited with Titus after a very long time. And bear in mind, Titus was captain of his company. Then he went missing because of the Inquisition. Then he was seconded to the Death Watch. Then he did the Residius campaign straight away. So Matoris hasn't seen him in ages. And then he's like, oh, back here you are, back again, my Padawan. And it's all like, oh, Mr. I'm a lieutenant now, I outrank you. But he's like, you can tell in the animation, they're just like, they're not talking, they're not looking at each other. There's bits where they descend on this planet called Zaui. It's a really weird name. Zaui, alongside brothers Icaron and Levantus to destroy a Sinch cult that's like around this shrine of some sort. The chapter deems it threat level absolute, so it's like, you ain't coming back from this more than likely, which is why our boy, the chaplain, was like, hey, Calgar, I know Titus has kind of absolved himself of all of his sins in the Residius campaign. Maybe you should send him on this suicide mission just to be sure. Like, okay, Leandros, you rat. Mm-hmm. And since they're reunited, they haven't seen each other in ages. Matoris is a bit wary of Titus. He's very brash in the mission. He's taking chances, and he's dragging this sarcophagus through this battle zone. And there's like a point where he lets it go, and then Matoris gives it back to him and is like, hey, You may outrank me, but I'm in command. Do as you're told, young'un. And they drag this null casket with a psyker inside to this Saint shrine. The psyker then casts like a psychic bubble to prevent the defender, the Lord of Change or whatever it is, the demon that's protecting the shrine from attacking the Astartes in unconventional ways. So then the demon goes, that was fun, chucks a big spear at the psyker, kills him, breaks the bubble, and then kind of like freezes them in place. The demon knows that it can't like claw its way through their armor because it's not that kind of demon. So it goes, okay, I'm going to like attack you in your mind. I'm going to find the one thing that you're weak to, that you're worried about, that you're nervous about, that you're fearful of, and then I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you inside your armor. So the other two veterans die from the first company, or the guys with the white helmets. And then it gets to Matoris, and his fear is Titus. And he looks at Titus, and he's a boy, then he's a man, then he's an Astartes, and then he's like a Chaos Astartes. And he's like, the reason he's so resistant to chaos is maybe one day he's destined to become some powerful Chaos Lord. And so the demon goes, that'll do, and manages to wound him by the like shadow of Titus stabbing him in the gut. And then it tries to attack Titus, and Titus goes, the hell are you doing in my skull? Get out of here. This is my brain. This is my mind. And then just like grabs the demon in his own psyche. Then when it tries to escape into the real world, he jumps after it and like cuts it in half with like a combat knife. Pretty cool scene. Gets splattered in like goop, like fluorescent goopy. Mm-hmm. And then Matoris is obviously injured. The other two Astartes are dead. Titus is like, right, we've killed the demon. Our guys in orbit with their strike cruiser can destroy the temple. I'm going to drag Matoris out because he's my like adoptive dad, basically. And Matoris is like, hey, we're going to die here. And he's like, not yet, old man. And he walks off. And it turns out he managed to save Matoris because he's in 500 worlds. He's still a veteran sergeant. Now Titus is reinstated as captain of the second company. And Matoris, I assume, by what we see in the trailer, has cast off any doubts about his protege. He's now like, yep, he's incorruptible. He's my man. I've got his back. I'm going to be there when he's starting the campaign. That's my boy right there.
Squeeze.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's Matoris and Gadders. I like Matoris. He's fun.
He has an axe. That's sexy power axe.
Yeah, pretty nice models.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Why do like Victory's Guard? Why is Ultramar known for axes?
I know their Honor Guard has them. Yeah, so maybe that's down to what's his name in the Horus Heresy? Their captain. Well, not captain, but you know, like the guy in charge of the Honor Guard. What's his name? I've done a video on him as well. Dravus.
In Heresy, I think a few of them end up dying, don't they?
Yeah, but this is the guy who's like the bodyguard of Gilman, even in his like short stories, like bodyguard of Primarch. That's a superfluous job title.
I escapes my brain.
Yeah, well, that guy, he's got like an axe. He kind of looks like a guy who goes to like football in the UK. He's just like, yeah, he's got like a short haircut, and he's just like, all right there, I protect the Primarch. You got a problem, you mug? I'll get you.
Your finest chips swimming in liquid ketchup, please.
Yeah, he's just there like, that's bloody lovely.
Mushy
that's really
peas,
nice.
Why does Warhammer hate hammers? Says Trippy Imp. So true. So true. Thunder hammers were unusable like an edition ago too. It is pretty unbelievable. Nobody got a hammer.
They bring it back for Grey Knights in 11th because I need to be able to let me equip my sergeant with a thunder hammer at least, bruh. Not all just be nemesis weapons that all do the same thing. Come on.
Yeah, that would be real nice. But anyways, as far as 500 worlds go, we get one campaign that we get some lore on, and it's like kind of whatever. But it's mostly about Necrons, so that's exciting. So we have the Heliodras system. Look at that. And there's a Tyranid tendril coming in, and there's Nova Magnar over here. I know I've said that right. I keep saying it wrong. Nova Mag Nor. And Titus, being in the Death Watch, so he knows. He sees that the Tyranids are avoiding Nova Magnar. And so he knows, because he's in the Death Watch, the book makes sure to tell you more than once that there's Necrons there, because he's in the Death Watch, so he knows. So he goes to check it out. Tyranids are obviously leaving. When Titus and his pals get there in his fleet, show up, a big tomb ship, it doesn't actually say the class, I don't think, but we can assume Cairn class, big tomb ship, rises up from the planet and is damaged and weird, and it's not actually attacking them. It tries to fend off things close to it, but it's not attacking. So Titus, in his foolish, mortal, fleshling arrogance, decides to board the ship, which causes all the problems to come. But he boards the ship. There's no fighting really to be done other than sweeping aside what little remains on the ship of Canoptics, and then he kills the Lord there. It's a Sautek Lord with his honor guard, and they're guarding this strange big device. And Titus says we should just blow it up, and Archimagos or whatever, Oct, says no, we shouldn't. We should bring it back home because it might blow up everything if we blow it up here. And he listens to the Mechanicus person, even though he doesn't trust him. But they bring it back. Then they go touch down on the planet. He gives the device to Oct, and Oct goes off and fricks off in some random little shrine. It's a tech shrine, and starts studying it. So that's that. There's also been reports on Nova Magnor of tomb worlds rising up out of the ground and causing all these catastrophes, but there's not actually much fighting going on. There's nothing super scary, super big happening. So they make planetfall. Titus opts to listen to he listens to Gabriel, says we should attack right now, and they do. And instead of the other person who is just one of the characters, it doesn't really matter. One of the other characters, I think one of the mortals, says we should get some theoreticals before we go into the practical. So we should study everything that's going on. But they don't. They just go down there. Titus orders reconnaissance missions while they do that. They go to Site Umbra, which is the main tomb world that came out of the ground. And he decides we're going to bring in a vortex bomb. We're going to blow up this whole main site, because there's other sites that are satellites coming up and some other ones around the world. But this is the primary one. So if he can blow this up, then the whole world will be over and everything was okay. So they bring this vortex bomb into this tomb world. This tomb complex. The actual planet Nova Magnor is a tomb world, rightfully owned by the Necrons. They're on Necron territory 60 million years ago. They go in there, and it's a strange sight. There's not any Necrons to fight. There's Canoptics cast and strewn about. Doors are blasted open. The walls are pulsing with this strange, sickly light. And all a bunch of Necron warriors and Necrons in general are hanging out of their caskets or laying on the ground. And they're also flickering with this strange light. But none of them are getting up. None of them are actually fighting. They make it all the way down to the center of the tomb world, where there's hundreds, if not thousands, of warriors just lying on the floor here. There's a big giant pillar thing in the middle, and he thinks that's ought to be the main place. I'm going to go blow up the vortex bomb there. There's some tech priests with them as well, because they can only activate the vortex bomb with the tech priests, because Space Marines don't know how to do that. They can't talk to the machine spirit like that. So they start walking. They get halfway there, and unbeknownst to them, they were being watched this whole time. What a surprise. And 6 Hexmark destroyers phase in out of their oubliettes and in bright flashes of light and start pistoling, killing everybody. The Space Marines start fighting back, and then Ophidians show up and start slicing the Space Marines, and then the Space Marines fight back some more, and then Scorpack destroyers show up and start chopping up Space Marines, and the Space Marines fight back some more. This is a recurring theme for the entire campaign. The Space Marines fighting back more is their main job in this. And so the Space Marines push forward as the best they can. They're almost to the center. Gabriel and Mataris and Titus are with their Blade Guard. They have the Tech Priest in tow and the Vortex Bomb. There's only one Tech Priest left. And then out of the smoke, a green beam disintegrates the Tech Priest and then kills the Blade Guard. And Necrosaur Mentor, the cool new Necron guy, a new character, shows up and starts killing everybody. Now there's no Tech Priest left, so they have to abandon the bomb because they can't blow it up. So they have to retreat. A squad stays behind. Squad Gaius, I think it is, stays behind to sacrifice himself. Necrosaur Mentor kills all of them. They get to a bridge. Another squad stays behind, and the Necrosaur kills all of them because he's pursuing them. And they're having to fight their way up the tomb world. And they finally get out and evacuate on the Thunderhawks that were waiting for them. And as they're evacuating, Titus is, of course, the last one on. and he stays on the ramp and he's watching down, and he can see the Necrosaur staring up at him from the entrance of the Tomb World. And even as the Thunderhawk ramp closes, he can still feel the eyes of the Necrosaur gazing through straight into his soul, that type of thing. So they have failed their mission, and about half of the strike force was slain in this fight. Not as much as the Necrons wanted to, actually. But that's
still
the
a
first
massive
thing.
failure, though.
Hey, that's still half is still pretty good.
Yeah. How he still manages to pull anything off, I don't know. Just believe it, bro. Just believe it because it happens.
Is that more or less the lore of 500 Worlds? Because I do have.
No, there's more. There's more.
Oh, there's more. Okay,
the campaign, the campaign has an end to it. That's not like that. Yeah, it's you. Would you really believe that the Ultramarines would lose? You silly fellow. You really believe that they would end up on a loss?
I'm sorry, Papa.
Big
Set me right. Where's the king? Set me right.
So okay.
I don't like the direction that's went.
Titus goes back, talks to the governor, hangs out at the command table. There's more attacks happening all across the planet now. The more Tomb Worlds rising up. And because he's part of the Death Watch, don't forget, he was in the Death Watch, Titus can tell that these Necrons aren't fighting like regular Necrons because he was in the Death Watch. Don't forget. And so he sees that these Necrons are like weird and kind of disorganized and not fighting in the regular robotic fashion that Necrons do.
Guys, I think Titus was in the Death Watch.
Yeah. They're very they're murderous and weird and like bloodthirsty almost. There's also reports of a big, spooky, scary robed figure with a scythe going around and killing everybody. So the Nightbringer shard is here. So that's pretty cool. So maybe we can cut over to the Necrons, the cool guys, the Necron side of things, and we'll talk about the new character, Necrosaur Ementar. Guy's box back there, but his model's not in my house right now. It's at my buddy's house because we were playing a game. His model's tiny, by the way. His model's like as big as his cup. And he's supposed to, he has like in his artwork, he has a whole freaking Space Marine in his hand. But a Space Marine's like this big. Ementar's like that big.
It's that Keanu Reeves meme where it's just him on the EA in the E3 stage and there's the little one next to him. Like, yeah, that's the model version.
Mm-hmm. So Ementar is a very unique new character. Who would have thought? Yeah, a unique new character. Pretty cool, in my opinion. He's an OG Necron. He's kind of he has the OG Necron mindset where he's like a actual like Catan believer and a Catan worshiper. He wants to unite the Nightbringer Catan shards to bring them all together to recreate and like reform Azagorod, the Nightbringer, because he believes, or it believes, sorry, it's not even like a thing anymore. It's just an it. It's like an animal. Believes that the Nightbringer can scour the entire galaxy clean of life, and that this is the most efficient and best way to get rid of all biological life. Because if it wasn't kind of obvious, the Necrosaur is like the epitome of the Destroyer curse, the Destroyer virus. He is one of the, I guess he's the only Necron who has the Destroyer curse, but still has his intellect. It still knows what's going on. Sometimes it loses itself, but it can still think and function and command things, unlike most destroyers. And it's pretty cool. Necrons around it kind of get just turned into destroyers almost immediately. It's really hard to resist the urge when he's around. When he lands on planets, like the Tomb Worlds themselves get infected by the Destroyer curse, and the Tomb Worlds start to go crazy, and they take all the citizens of the Tomb Worlds, sleeping or awake, and forcibly turn them all into destroyers and like modify them to be destroyers. So entire worlds get infected by the Destroyer curse whenever the Necrosaur shows up. The Necrosaur claims to hear the whispers of Azagorod, so he can find the Catan shards of the Nightbringer. No one knows if that's true or not, but he does have a weird knack for being able to find these Catan shards, which I guess I won't spoil it. We all know where this is going, maybe, but he's really good at finding these Catan shards and reawakening them. And it has a big collection of them, basically, big Pokemon collection of Azagorods, of mini Azagorods, which I don't think I mentioned this in the Necron episode because I don't think I knew this before, but the Nightbringer at least has a swarm of Canoptics going around it all the time, repairing its necrodermis because it's so unstable that the necrodermis is constantly breaking. So that's a cool little fact, I guess. Now, as I said, the Necrosaur is a big destroyer guy, so he forces the destroyer on everyone else around him. He's very good at killing things. Unsurprisingly, it's not quite as good as a commander. It has moments of lucidity, and that's when its Oblivion Court kind of gets together and they discuss what the plan is, what they're gonna do. I don't know. Its Oblivion Court has a couple of characters in it, like the Scorpec Lord, Nesferata the Flayer. There's Nemesaur. Anhutek is the lady, and she's been resisting the Destroyer madness, trying to be the Amintar's right hand. There's lots of Cryptex who follow him around. The Necrosaur gets these Cryptex to keep modifying its body to be better at killing things, very Destroyer-esque. And no one actually knows the origins of the Necrosaur, but it's kind of supposedly always been a myth to the Necrons, and most of the Necrons don't believe that the Necrosaur even exists. He's the boogeyman. He's the Necron boogeyman. It's pretty cool. Everyone's scared of him. Anyone who's met him doesn't want to go near him. They're very scared of him because he'll make them the Destroyer into the Destroyer virus. Wanting to reawaken the Catan and bring the Catan back is like an ultimate heresy that it's like literally repugnant to the rest of the Necrons. They think it's insane. They think that that if you bring the Nightbringer back, it's just gonna kill all the other Necrons as well. There will be nothing left. I think there's like a thing in here that says the Necrosaur is fighting for a silent galaxy. That's pretty cool. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like the model. I like the character. I wish the model was bigger. But yeah, the Necrosaur and its little big warband, it increases and gets bigger and bigger everywhere it goes. They go through a lot of portals from Tomb World to Tomb World. They kind of just like leave behind their crap. They don't care about keeping their tomb ships and stuff. They just go the fastest way they can. And again, they're just seeking out these Catan shards. It's like a crusade. It's like, they call it a crusade in this book, actually. Flayed Ones follow it around. It's like a shepherd for Flayed Ones. Doesn't mind being around Flayed Ones, which every other Necron hates the Flayed Ones. So it's pretty cool. So anyways, when the Necrons saw the Space Marines coming, they planned out this ambush. The Necrosaur had a little bit of lucidity, so they talked about it. And they were really hoping that they would kill all the Ultramarines when they showed up to this little tomb complex, because they knew more would come, and more had been contacted. Like there's a squadron of the 4th Company guys out somewhere that are going to come reinforce them. But the Nemesaur had no idea how hard the Space Marines would fight, and she was very surprised when half the Space Marines survived, because they fight so hard and are so resolute, and they always make it out of the bad things. So that was a little bit frustrating for them. So anyways, now there's tomb complexes going up all around the world. Crazy fights are happening. The Nightbringer showing up is very desperate. Everyone's dying. Titus sends in some Space Marines to go fight on a front, but the Nightbringer just kind of kills all of them and then leaves. So he brings all the Space Marines back while all the mortals are trying to hold off on these multiple different sites. And curious enough, the Ox the Archimagos, is not committing any of his AdMech forces and has been locked away in this shrine studying this strange artifact, which Oct believes there's an angel of the Omnissiah locked away in this artifact. And he's been praying and praying to the Omnissiah that he may be able to open this. And he finally realizes there's someone on the planet who can open this to do the Omnissiah's will. And it's Nemesaur Amintar can open this thing to unleash the angel of the Omnissiah. Obviously, we know it's in there now. But that's cool. He goes crazy, basically. So Titus realizes, like, this is crazy. We're so screwed, but I'm not going to leave. Titus could leave, and that would be the better choice, to be honest. He could have left, waited for reinforcements, then attacked again. But he didn't want to. He didn't want to leave the Nova Magnorians by themselves. He's the defender of Ultramar. Why be part of the 500 worlds if the Space Marines won't even stick around to help you? So he's very, very noble, very good to do that. So there's 2 other tomb complex sites around I totally forgot the name. Around Umbra as satellite sites. And Titus decides they're going to go through one of these secondary sites to go down and then be connected to the main tomb complex, because these ones will be less guarded and there won't be a bunch of reinforcements spilling out of the main one, which is, they deduce, again, I'm pretty sure it's because he's in the Death Watch, he just knows that there's portals in the main tomb complex and a bunch of reinforcements are spilling in. There's Zerican reinforcements, because the last world that the Nemesaur was at was a Zerican world, and it's now ruined and terrible, but he's got cool destroyer stuff. And it does say that every Necron in the Nemesaur's legions is infected by the Destroyer Curse one way or another, including the vehicles themselves, because Necron stuff does have machine spirits as well, more or less. They're very murderous and killing. They just like run into things. It's pretty fun and silly. So yeah, Titus says the reinforcements are coming from down there. So I'm taking all my Space Marines, and we're going down there, and we're gonna fight. And that's what they do. He brings Titus, Gadriel, Mataris, go back to fight. Meanwhile, in the outskirts of First Brand, just a place on this planet, which is near the Forge Shrine, by the way, Amentar launches his own attack at the same time. Because Necrosor doesn't care about defending stuff, really. He's just here to find Catan Shard. Whatever happens to the Tomb World doesn't really matter, at least to the Necrosor. So he goes and attacks, and the militia are very hard pressed and just like slaughtered. Mechanicus forces are nearby. They're not coming out to aid in the battle. The governor, she commits her personal guard to go fight in this battle, and a Baneblade shows up, and they hold the Necrons off for a little bit at least. And yeah, the Necrosor kills them, basically. That's like the aforementioned Scorpic Destroyer goes and like slices the Baneblade in half, basically, and everyone's dying. It's cool. The Necrosor is just a cool murder machine. He kills like the governor's elite guard. He kills all the Ogrins. Sorry, Ogrin fans. They all get slaughtered by this guy.
My boys.
Meanwhile, Nemesaur, what is her name? Nemesaur Anhutek is back in the Tomb World. In the bottom of the Tomb World, in the center, plotting. There's a little bit of a guard around this vortex bomb that was just left there. Why they didn't just get rid of it, they literally have portals that could bring it somewhere else, but they left it there. Just to give the Space Marines a chance, I guess. Just in case the Space Marines wanted to show up and take it back, I guess. They left it there. But whatever. She's there. She's trying to stave off the Destroyer virus, so she's a bit distracted. Meanwhile, Titus and the fellas are coming in through the secondary place. They fight a bunch of Canoptics and warriors and stuff, but it's not nearly as bad as a battle as it would have been on the primary one. And most of the forces are away anyways, going to assault the shrine. So the fight isn't that bad, but it's still pretty brutal. There's still brutal fighting, and then the Space Marines keep fighting harder, and they push and push and push, and finally they make it back into Umbra and the underneath part. They get into the middle area. Titus has a duel with the Necrosor, and they're evenly matched, it says, even though Titus is like super tired and exhausted, but he's just goated. He's just goated like that. And the Nemesaur is doing pretty good, but then she gets the tug of the Destroyer and kind of overextends, and then Titus kills her. And it said like the battle was like desperate and terrible, going pretty badly for the Ultramarines while this is happening. But the moment Titus kills the Nemesaur, who just like phases out and reanimates somewhere else. Obviously, she's not actually dead. He looks up and the battle's over and the Space Marines won and everything's okay. So the Tech Marines...
Hooray! Love it when the Space Marines win.
Another Ultra dub.
Yeah, so he brings the Tech Marines with him. They activate the bomb. They run away and they get on their Thunderhawks with what little is left of the strike force. I don't know if there's an exact number. They lost probably 2/3 of what they brought at least, which is a pretty big deal for Space Marines. And there you go. They have successfully bombed the primary tomb complex, so there's no more Necron reinforcements coming in. But while this is happening, the Necrosor and his buddies breach the shrine with a bunch of Doomsday Arcs. They blow up the door. And when he walks in, the Necrosor, he finds Oct, the Archmagos, kneeling beside this Necron artifact, and praying to it. And when Oct sees the Necrosor, he like begs him to open it up. And the Necrosor puts his hand on his shoulder and is like being all nice, and then just like throws him into his buddies, and they all tear him apart and kill him. And the Necrosor takes the artifact and unleashes the Catan Shard of the Nightbringer. Who would have expected that? So there's another Catan Shard on here. Kill some more guys, but the mission's complete. Necrosor has better things to do. It was in a bit of a hurry because the other fronts that were fighting to get these Catan Shards needed the Necrosor elsewhere, so they just leave. They're all done here. It's all good. All is well. They take the South Pole portal and just frick off, and it's all good. And yeah, that's like, I don't think there's much else.
I love that. They take the South Pole and there's just like a completely bewildered polar bear. Like,
yeah.
what's going on here? That would have been good.
Yeah. And so there's like one cool big battle. The Space Marines do Space Marine stuff. Like literally every Space Marine scene is, and then they fought harder and they were able to do it. It's not great. It's not overly exciting lore, but the new Necron stuff is really cool. If you couldn't tell, I'm excited about it. And the Necrosaur is a really cool character. And I hope it gets like a book or something. Surely they'll do some 500 Worlds books. I hope that the Necrosaur and Titus keep matching up and fighting, because now the Necrosaur is on other places in the 500 Worlds causing problems. There's like there's a little picture in here. I think they're fighting the Death Guard somewhere, I guess, because there's a picture. Yeah, there's a picture of the Necrons fighting the Death Guard in here, and then like nothing else to say about it. It says they're in the depths of Jawardet's sublevels between shambling hordes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, wherever Jawardet is, they're fighting.
I guess it's
the Death
just
Guard.
remnants of the God Blight, plague wars.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Well, at least to there, at least it doesn't sound like the Imperials, like they just go, and then they walked in and then they won every battle, and then it,
the
like, no, it actually cost lots of resources and lives to get a stalemate.
Yeah, the Necrons actually won. The Necrons got more than what the Ultramarines did, believe it or not, because all the Necrosaur wanted was that Catan shard, which Titus literally brought to him. Yeah, Titus.
He can have it as a treat.
Yeah. They maybe should have just let that poor innocent Necron tomb ship leave. I don't know. Maybe they should have
poor innocent Necron tomb ship. Those are words.
Yeah.
Full of enslaved Necron thralls with their minds obliterated, living in an endless hell.
As opposed to Imperial ships with poor slaves whose minds have been obliterated.
They get to enjoy their corpse starch. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Do servitors? Do they?
Probably
Some of them.
They have to feed
they got it. I mean, they do have to stay alive somehow. Like the flesh still has to stick around. So they probably do have to feed them one way or another.
They get the Taco Bell of corpse starch.
They probably get like an IV type of thing. They just plug into a machine and it just like recharges and puts nutrients in them.
See, that's kind of how I've always pictured it.
Mm-hmm.
Or they have another servitor like going around to the ones jammed indoors with like a bowl of gruel.
Here comes the train.
You go.
It's like that. It's like that company that made it was like quite a few years ago, and they used to sponsor the Rooster Teeth podcast. Gosh, shout out to Rooster Teeth that no longer exists. And they would just had a protein shake thing that was like supposed to replace meals, and it just ended up looking like a grey.
Was it Control?
Was it? Yeah. Oh, I don't know what was it called?
Was it Control, like CTRL?
I don't know. It's been so long, but I just remember thinking people like loads of fitness people and other people were like, "Oh, this is like the new craze." I remember thinking, "What do you mean? Like, so you don't like the whole point of eating or something? The best part is the flavor. Like, you're skipping the flavor, bruh."
We could go through quickly the chapters involved in this one as well. I'll list them all off, and you can like talk about them if you want.
I've got some notes, but still. Okay.
There's the Ultramarines, the Reborn, the Size of the Emperor, the Silver Skulls, the Avenging Sons, the Sons of Aurora, the Nova Marines, the Praetors of Ultramar, the Doom Eagles, and the Aquilone Brotherhood. Never heard of those guys.
Well, this is the thing. I got a message a while back, so I did like all the Space Marine chapters. And I didn't include a couple of these because they don't have anything. And then I had a message of people like, "Oh, look, the Reborn and the Aquilon Brotherhood have lore." And I'm like, no, they don't. And they have a logo, but they still don't have like a color scheme. Like, calm down.
Like, there's like 3 sentences in these, as you can see. So, yeah.
Well, let me go through the minor ones first. So, like the Aquilon Brotherhood, Ultima founding. They have a veteran called Ixon, who is in the Godblight series, the Dark Imperium books, who's part of Tetrarch Decimus's honor guard. They wear white and blue gold ceramite, and they have a twin-headed eagle with an Ultima in it as their logo. That's all they have. Praetors of Ultramar, Ultima founding, drawn from the Unnumbered Sons. They helped defend during the Plague Wars. They come from a planet called Housebridge. They wear black, gold, and white armor with a skull and an Ultramar within a golden iron halo. That's their lore. The True Reborn, or the Reborn, I should say. The Reborn. Not to be confused with the Reborn Warband. This is the Reborn chapter. They wear blue-white armor, and they have a skull with an Ultramar as their symbol. That's their lore.
Oh, why even make these? Why even make these? Why not just make existing chapters do these things?
They are existing chapters. That's the depressing thing. They are existing chapters. They just did the barest minimum to give them not even CPR or life support. They put them on like a drip, and they're still in a comatose. Like, come on,
legally pronounced dead.
Yeah. Some of the more meh chapters, we got the Avenging Sons. They've been around. These are the ones that one of the comments was like, wait, it says in the book they're Ultima foundings. They've been around for a while, but maybe they've retconned them. I'm not sure. They hail from a world called Trichonis Major, and they wear azure armor with gold, with an icon, which is a white cross. That's their lore. Sons of Aurora. They wear red armor with a red Omega symbol. Aurora. Yeah, Aurora. That's their name. Sons of Aurora.
A sick dog noise.
They are a heresy-based chapter. So that one of their founder was from the Ultramarines Legion. They crunked Craft World Alatok once. That was fun. And they have lots of Corvus armor. That's
classic Eldar lore. Thanks.
Doom Eagles are kind of fun. They hail from the world called the Eerie. They are nihilistic because they're all like, we're all going to die anyway. And so they're
LARPers.
Yeah, they're Ultramarine Raven Guard basically. And they're like, us knowing we're going to die means that we just go into suicidal charges, knowing we're going to die. And so we have a bit of freedom in that regard. And when they survive, they're like, I guess I'll try again tomorrow.
Damn.
They're in a few books here and there as side characters. They're okay. They wear silver armor, and their icon is a skull on a stylized eagle. There is a bit more to them, but this is kind of a brief rundown.
Oh my God. I just realized when I bought Battle of Macragge, when I was a kid, I painted my first ever Space Marines as Doom Eagles.
Oh, wow.
I just had the codex. I didn't really understand what was going on. I was probably too young, but then I was just I just liked the silver. I used to stare at different armies being painted up, and I was like, oh, these silver ones look kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Damn. Shout for 20 years ago.
Young Hal painting his first Doom Eagle I too stare into the void of death. Yippee! Hal. Don't paint the Doom Eagles.
My brain did go 20 years ago when I was 5. I was like, nope, I'm older than that. Oh God!
Existence is meaningless. Yay! Said Hal.
Hey, Money in the chat says the Avenging Sons were a chapter that got destroyed during the Great Rift. Ultima Founding rebuilt them, and they have anger issues because of that former thing.
Okay.
I feel like I've done a show on them before.
Kind of like Soul Troopers then.
Yeah. Just less soldiering because the whole thing.
Avenging Sons were on Taros. That's what they're from. Holy frick.
Yeah, they're the ones who get crunked by
only
PDF
lores they get wrecked by the Tau.
All of their lore is them getting their ass beat. That's right. They were in a video I made. They die at Taros. I think one of their companies just leaves a planet under siege by chaos and joins chaos.
Yeah.
Not even because they wanted to, but because they went renegade and they were like, well, we're already here.
With Ultramar being on the borders of the Tau, they could have a rematch. They could fight again in a new campaign. Maybe that'll be a thing someday.
Lose again.
I think their name is so good. It's one of his best nicknames for Gilliman.
And yet, one of the dullest paint schemes. It's we're blue. Anything else?
Blue and white.
No.
We
use Codex compliant pauldrons, and we're blue.
Don't forget they suck.
Yeah.
It's very important.
And then the last 3 I have, we got the Silver Skulls, who I'm playing as in the gameplay. They lost their homeworld of Lyria. They now live on a planet called Varsavia. They use prognosticator librarians who see into the future to try and divine best course of action. Hold on, there's a dog. I must put the dog banner on.
She is whining a bit.
Yeah, I hear a little bit of a...
Do you want to go outside really quick?
Feed the dog.
I did feed her. Do you want to go outside? Yeah, she's going to shit in my house if I don't let her out.
Okay, go. The Silver Skulls are very devout. They followed the Varsavian orthodoxy, and they're totally not what's remaining of Barabbas Dantioch's Sons of Dantioch company. Totally not Iron Warrior successors, promise. Even though their icon looks like an Iron Warrior skull and they wear like silver armor and they're called the Silver Skulls. It's like totally not Iron Warriors, dudes. Promise. Speaking of not Iron Warriors, we've got Scythes of the Emperor. Secret Ultramarines 11th Company, which when the heresy ended, they had a secret 11th Company when they put the Codex into play and just didn't tell anyone about it. They defended the world of Sofa, which has the Pharos device. Pharos device, what blowed up and brought the Tyranids to the Warhammer universe and was the last stand of Alexis Pollux and Barabbas Dantioch. They used Barabbas's like mask as a badge of office for each of their chapter masters. They got bodied by the Tyranids during their invasion because that's like the place where the big beacon in the sky was lit. And they aided Belisarius' call in thwarting a Catan shard that was stored inside the Pharos device. So that's kind of fun.
There's no... I haven't read that call book. I really want to. There's no actual OG Size of the Emperor left, right? They're all dead. So there's no cool Gene Stealer Space Marines left.
The Gene Stealer ones are gone. I believe they go out in glory. But there are like a few sites because they have this whole thing with the Giant's Coffin, I believe it's called, where they have a big last stand on a planet, kind of like the Crimson Pists. Crimson Pists.
This guy got pee on the mind right now. Freudian slip. What the heck?
Yeah, Crimson get rotated piss stain. No, but like they kind of get bodied, but they kind of survive. There's a few left, and they're reconstituted with Primaris. So and they're totally not Iron Warriors successors, even though they come from the planet with which the Iron Warrior defended, and they wear silver, and they have, and they have they worked with like the toilers of the field of their homeworld, which were like farmers. So that's where they have 2 cross scythes as their logo. And then the last one is the Nova Marines. All you need to know is they are racist. They are racist, and they hate abhumans, and they suck. But no,
they're really nice guys to the Imperium, though, aren't they? I feel like I'm pretty sure the Valdemar loves these guys, doesn't he?
I don't know, but like Nova Marines, long story short, they trained another chapter called the Angels of Fury from their inception. They hail from a world called Honorum. They love the Codex Astartes so much that they go to bed with it in their under their pillow every night. They don't worship the Emperor. They're not part of the Imperial cult, but they treat the Codex like a divine text. So they are like daddy's boys. They hate mutants. They hate heresy more than most. Their icon is an iron halo with a skull in it, and their first chapter master is basically from this noble house of Ultramar, and so he was like given up by his noble house. He's like the Primarch who told the Lion to piss off during Secundus, where he was like, "Oh, you're being given a laurel of victory," and he just stands up to the Lion and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna give up my oaths because I'm gonna swear new ones." And the Lion's like, "That sounds cringe. You shouldn't ever give up an oath." And he's like, "No, mate, I'm giving it up because I'm gonna do a better one." And Gilliman's like, "Yes, tell my brother to piss off. That's good boy, good boy." Lucretius Corvo is his name, and he kills a Titan. He's pretty cool, but his chapter is just bigoted and nasty pieces of work. They are in the Dark Imperium trilogy, and there are POV characters, but they are still Nova Marines are. They're cool, but they're also not good people. Gotta be honest.
ain't nobody likes mutants or Xenos in this Imperium Cup.
Salamanders are right.
Nova Marines get tattoos.
They do get tattoos as well.
They have cool psychic powers, I think. They have cool psychic stuff. Like
skinheads. They're just I hate this person.
Yeah.
Oh, no Marines, no, stop it. This isn't American
That's what everyone
does.
Everyone hates them Xenos.
Mm-hmm.
They're not wrong with that. They're not wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, do we have any theories where this whole like? Because bear in mind they're pairing this with Maelstrom to give like Huron a resurgence.
Yeah.
Where do we think this is going to go? Because like Space Marine 3 is a consideration. Possibly there's going to be novels, but I don't know. I don't know what, because it's this really strange thing to have like your premier character in the setting now quarantined to this 500 worlds game set. And maybe that's just to like future proof him. Like he can't die now because he's in this like niche within the setting. But where do we think 500 worlds is going to go in the future? Is this going to be like a one and done, or is it going to go on for as like a whole separate game set? Do we have any theories?
Maybe they'll make like, some small side games for it. I like specialty games. It'd be cool if they brought those back a bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes nowhere. Not gonna lie. Or that.
There's always that.
If we're lucky, we'll get 1 or 2 books. I don't know. Or it'll be lots. I don't know.
As much as Arcs of Omen has been touched since that happened. It's you have to remember we are talking about a game manufacturing company. It is an excuse to bring out some pretty cool miniatures so far that I think everyone is. I don't think anyone has said anything like they don't necessarily. Obviously you don't like every miniature that comes out ever. No one does, but I mean they're looking good so far. And an excuse to, and then some new rules. I think there'll be more detachments for different groups, maybe as each of the campaign books come out. So there'll be more stuff like for Eldar in the next one, and then obviously Chaos and other things people can do. Actually, Eli, there's obviously a few new detachments available in this current one, wasn't there as well? So
and you get all these goofy little this whole like wacky fancy campaign map in that book. So like maybe I should play that with fellows or something. I don't know. That's kind of neat.
My friend just went out and bought the new model, because he's interested in playing Cursed Legion.
Nice. It's goated. It's cool. It's my day one Necron stuff. So you get like the boarding actions and the missions. The boarding action book is like a whole rule book too. It's quite, I don't know, weird. But I don't know, Negrosaur is real cool. And I'm happy that he exists in general. And the new attachment is freaking awesome. I was playing, like, you see there's red Necrons back there. There we go. My OG Necron army was a Destroyer cult army, but the Destroyer cult was just so lame, the Destroyer detachment, so I just ended up playing normal Necrons in the end. But now we got Destroyers again. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's a good start. And I guess when we'll probably maybe cover the Huron and Corsair one when it comes out, just because, hey, those models do look good.
They do.
I like some pirate stuff. Red Corsairs have got some... Huron is an interesting character. Prince Uriel is an interesting character. I'm sure Colin has already thrown his wallet immediately at the screen.
He's got 2 banners. He's got 2 banners.
You don't have 2 banners.
I don't.
Awesome, guy. Thank you much. My brain is not in the right place today. I'm still recovering. We were starting a new segment recently, weren't we? Which was a miniature, like we would choose from the Discord.
Mini of the week.
And to be fair, I could go first if the other guys need. They want to have
I was one who forced that onto LoreCrimes without asking anyone, and now I'm not even doing it. Let me go find that.
Andy, there's a picture I have chosen. Let me go quickly find the guy's name, because this dude has made some crazy stuff in the Discord. This guy's an amazing painter, by the way, as well. There's a guy called Mr. Ivar, who's a regular painter. I've seen you, brother. Some of that stuff is I'm getting very jealous.
Have you guys showcased Donkey Man's Chaos Terminator?
Nope. Send it here. Send it here.
Yeah.
Send it over, yeah.
Nice. I will.
Here we go. Oh, I found my one. I'll get a better thing for the guys listening, but I'll try my best to describe it for the audio listeners as well. But I have an offering by a guy named literally Thor. Put that in the chat for people there, Andy. That guy's Bacillus Dreadnought, who I believe he says on his submission that it says, my Dreadnought for the Wild Hunt themed chapter. The conversion on this is pretty damn nice. Oh my god, he's put like little. I appreciate the Viking knots on leg pieces as well. Obviously, going on for that classic. Oh, what's the Leshen? That Leshen look on the where obviously the actual sarcophagus is supposed to be. I believe some of these look like they're 3D printed parts because there's like some flat chain pieces on there on the shoulder pads. That's crazy, brother. Color amazing. I don't even know where you got these antler bits from, but that is a very unique conversion because I don't know anyone else. I mean, it's kind of Space Wolf adjacent, but damn,
that's
man.
crazy.
I love a conversion. I do love kit bashing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so great job, Thor. Love it.
And the next one, let me just take this one off. Sorry, bear with me. And then I share the next one. So this one, was this your pick, Eli?
Yeah, this is Donkey Man's Skaven stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty dang cool. That's all I have to say. It's just it's very I can see the dreadnought legs on the bottom and chaos bits for the clawed feet. I don't know what those are actually from. I can't remember.
It's from a knight. That's one of the chaos knights.
Let's see. And then there's the warp tail, the claws from the Murder Fang. Those are Murder Fang claws. I'm quite certain. And yeah, pretty gosh darn cool, Mr. Donkey Man. Keep it up.
That's just like that base is dangerous to touch. Like it's just so spiked.
I like the spikes. Yeah, those chains are from the Chaos Rhino, I think. Very nice.
The next one. Let me just again take this one down. Share this one here. This one is from Blake115, and it's a Calgar.
Indeed.
Yes.
I figured on the day, right? We're talking about 500 worlds. Let's get Marnius Calgar here. Mm-hmm. And I do like the paint scheme, I do. He's fairly nicely painted. There's some green on the little eagle there too. I like that little highlight. It breaks it up from the normal blue and gold. Is Marnius? Is Calgar? Hell yeah.
The goat.
Done it in
the greatest of us all.
Look how clean that the edge highlight on his shin is. Like that's just like a perfect straight line.
Yeah.
You bastard.
Typical how look at that shin.
Glory to the Ultramarines, glory to Hal looking at feet.
The shin is the foot now. And
just one more time, glory to
Saddam.
Wow.
Marnius Calgar blocked by debris and rubble.
And the last one we're gonna pick here from Green Hat Guy. It's an Ickle Lamenter. Look at him.
Yes.
He's so small. He's so small. Imagine doing that hard. That would have been a ball ache. I mean, bear in mind, it's just like, but still, it's like the precision, the amount of teeny tiny dots
is hard to do even on a normal size Space Marine.
This is the flex.
I really want to play Epic. I just wish that there were Xenos armies and it wasn't just Horus Heresy. Making me sad.
No one's going to do it. Damn it, EW. That is cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Again, some of you guys are really talented, by the way, because I'm watching the tabletop one a lot recently because, my God, it keeps me inspired to keep, first of all, being diabetic, apparently. Thanks for the alarm.
Pardon me, dying a little bit. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry about him. And keeps me finishing up army. I just got some cactuses. I'm not joking, some actual cacti pieces. Hold on. Where are they? Yes. Actual cacti pieces for basing because I want to keep improving my miniatures because you guys have some very nice stuff.
Thank you all for joining us.
Gorilla Grit.
Did we have a question of the week?
No, we forgot, but don't worry about it. We'll do it next time.
I have a barely related would you rather if we want to just get a complete filler.
Go for that.
All right, look, I'll even add Captain, I'll add Warhammer into it. Would you rather be an Ultramarine and you have to fight off against a demon prince, an ODST and you got to fight the Arbiter, or a Jedi and you got to fight General Grievous?
ODST fighting the Arbiter, because
you think you win that fight?
I'm just saying, I saw Sergeant Forge kill the Arbiter once.
Yeah, but this is Keith David Arbiter.
Oh, well, you didn't say that. You said Arbiter.
All right, come on now.
Jedi.
I can't bring myself to kill Keith David. I've got to be honest.
Run. He doesn't have the Force, so you can just run.
Bro thinks he's going to be the guy to get away from Grievous.
Oh yeah, I just remembered he
General
crawl.
Grievous is like, Spiddly.
That was spider crawl.
I think I do choose Jedi as well, maybe.
I'm taking Ultramarine.
Maybe actually the Ultramarines one.
Yeah.
Because the Emperor might save you at the last second and you might get that plot armor.
You could be like the equivalent of Cad Bane. You could be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shoot you with my laser pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi, stupid Jedi.
There's the question of the week. And pardon me.
Okay.
Wow.
We did do one last week, so I've got those pulled up here.
Oh, okay. If you got them pulled up, fair enough.
What a goat!
Not to worry. I thought about that like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, crap. It was Iron Within, Iron Without was the hashtag. The question.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
No, this wasn't last week. This was
This was 2 weeks though.
Yeah, because last week was the guest episode. Yeah,
you weren't here last week. Yeah.
No. Wow. Why am I doing this then?
Were you not here last week?
No. Wait. No.
I wasn't here.
How was
you were there?
Well, there was no question last week.
It's riveting content.
It may have been a feat. As you can tell, people, we are a professional setup.
I'm trying to remember the question.
We're having collective dementia going on right now.
I'm trying to remember the question, all right?
Well, I think it was, what could you do without in the set?
Yeah, Iron Within and Iron Without. Yeah, I had the answers. I was trying to just get the question. I've got to start off with this one by
26-year-old geriatric tries to remember.
I'm 27 now, all right? I hit upper 20s and immediate melting. But Blake on Gaming 588 with the first question of the week answer. Shut up, diabetes. What could you do without the prices?
Yeah.
That's
Thank you, Tarek.
All right, I get it. Holy shit.
Probably worse with the poor USA bros with all the tariffs as well recently.
Melting. Canada.
Feel worse for us. Feel worse for Canada bros. Feel worse for Australian bros. Actually, they have to wait. They suffer the most by far.
For the next one, Rarest Pepe. He's got a spicy answer. Serious answer. Everything from 5th edition onwards, except the Nukrons. 40k already has the Tyranids, so it doesn't need another army of mindless killers, though I would still say that 40k would be better if the Necrons were the Men of Iron instead of an alien race badly crowbarred into the backstory. Brother.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm going to kill you.
With hammers.
Yeah.
Silly answer. Everything you four like, because you're most entertaining when you suffer.
Yeah, fair.
And then for the last question of the week, from Angry Homunculus, what would you remove? The Yanari. What else needs to be said? Just have it so that Gilliman is revived through a combination of the Armor of Fate and Big E, especially considering he did it later in Godblight.
Didn't GW just do that recently anyway?
Yeah,
basically.
At least if they were gone and erased, they wouldn't be so embarrassing.
Still give Gilliman a daughter that he names Tarasha because I think it's still cute. And then this is not a question of the week, but shout out to Sparhawkian who just said bricked.
Wow. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
I too am full mast.
I have an idea for
Knock
a fairly
the table.
fairly cursed.
Oh, sorry. Wow, he's that excited.
There was some damage with that one.
There we go. I have an idea for like maybe a cursed one for this week where it's like, what do we think about?
We're not doing the Would You Rather.
Oh, we're not doing the Would You Rather. Well, we could do that instead, yeah. If you want to do the Would You Rather.
No, if you got an actual question of the week, that's better. That was just pure. We needed filler.
All I had the idea was like maybe we should do hashtag Chirons. Like, who would you kill off instead of Chiron for the 500 worlds?
I feel like we've done a question just like that before.
Maybe. We could do the Would You Rather.
I'd kill Erebus.
True. We could just do the Would You Rather then, if that takes up the thing.
Hashtag rather.
Hashtag rather. Done. Professionally run podcast where we never do anything off the fly.
This is well run.
Or are late, etc. Amazing.
Shout out to us. We're great.
Yeah.
Best podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching, for listening, for the donations.
The Adric people.
He's gonna go do that.
Live TV.
Yeah.
Warhammer Live.
I just did 3 episodes on Adric, so now it's official. We have to end their run there. Like they've peaked, and then we can let them all like it in there. Yeah. And we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Like and subscribe.